Hey everybody, how we doing tonight? We are back regular Thursday. I'm doing good. How you doing tonight?
Can't complain yet. Give it time.
Oh no, I got a new one for when somebody asks you how you're doing. I think it's Dave Ramsey that said it. Go better than I deserve. That's
I don't want to go there. It's absolutely true, but I don't want to go there because then that's calling karma on you to actually fuck it up, and it's yeah, it could get worse up, but no, I wouldn't like it to get much worse. No, but anyway, I interrupted your entry.
Oh no, you're good. There's no set intro. I have nothing scripted.
There you go. See,
how's it going, Rocco?
On Talk Madness. All right. Hey, Rocco, what's up? So that was the other person that was waiting in the chat. All right, that's cool. That will work.
That.
Yeah. The reason I'm not all ecstatic and everything else is because next week, today is the 2nd of September, and the middle of next week, Brazil will shut down. We will have a trucker strike, similar to what's going on in Australia, but they're going to do it here in Brazil. So for their own reasons. But
we were talking about that right before we went on. Basically, you just ran into somebody that kind of confirmed that story, didn't you?
Oh yeah. Hey, Mud Rabbit, how you doing? I've got lots of people because the people themselves are going out to protest in the streets on the 7th of September. And that was sort of orchestrated by some well-respected, let's say, country music singers and the truckers union. But today I was talking to a trucker and he said, yeah, they're prepared to go. I mean, it's supposed to go at least 72 hours. It's 3 days. So 3 days can screw things up. But it could go 10, 20, 30 days until the government actually gives in. They will not let anything else in because they can basically shut down the country. And they have before. He said they did that a couple of years ago whenever the diesel prices went through the roof and things got hectic for about 10 days. And he said that this movement is much, much bigger than that one. So, yeah, this is going to be a rough one.
How long do you think it's going to last? Or are they waiting for something specific?
Well, it's going to start on the 7th of September because that's Independence Day. And it'll go as long as...
I'm just saying, are they holding out for something specific?
Yeah. The twisted, corrupt Supreme Court justices that believe that they are autocratic powers and can do as they wilt. They have abused everything. Plus, the truckers are complaining about the fact that it is 40 cents to the liter for gas for Petrobras, which is the state-owned oil monopoly. But the price at the pump is $5.50, $5.60. So that's 1,000% increase that is just unexplainable other than government largesse, you know. I didn't say hello to Mud Rabbit, so hello, Mud Rabbit and Kiz Baby. Nice, thank you. Welcome. All right, so we got some. Yeah. Trying times, these Ides of September. It's a bizarre time. And I'm starting to train to identify things to help train AI. Whatever, it's a new thing I'm looking into. Because translation's been paying shit. You can't do English classes, and those pay even worse. And you can't do football because everybody's in quarantine, so none of the leagues have been working.
Well, you got to learn to code.
You got to learn to do what you got to do. So, yeah. The finding new ways of ventures of, dealing with the new reality. It's a strange new world we're heading into. Don't know if we're all going to be locked down or if we're going to be Mad Max beyond Thunderdome.
I hope we get to hear back from our friend in New Zealand to see what things are like out there. They seem to go into lockdown a little bit earlier than everybody else too.
They went on lockdown for one 77-year-old man. The entire country went into lockdown because of one case. It's that Prime Minister of New Zealand just freaking batshit crazy. I mean, she is just a tyrant, complete. I gotta see that one. All right.
Why is Candace Owens pushing it? Gosh, makes me wonder.
Pricey at $500, yeah, but it's not Google or Apple, so it's something else. Because they're all talking about free speech. That's what they're always on about over there. Because Google and Apple are taking apps down. They're controlling the pricing on the in-app purchasing and everything else, and they're basically a monopoly, and they're trying to prove that you can actually break up a monopoly if you have to. And they're laying down the framework for having something else. It's kind of like creating your own Rumble and BitChute and all that kind of stuff. It's just people trying to find a way around the system. Oh, yeah. I heard about Joe Rogan. Thank you very much. That was a good one. Joe Rogan basically decided, well, Joe Rogan got the vid. So I saw this on Luke's channel. And so it was really interesting. But he got the vid and he decided to go alternative because he's into mushrooms. He's a weightlifter.
He got some concoction that worked out pretty good for him.
Yeah, but it's worked out for quite a few populations as well. He didn't just do it because he felt like, experimenting with his life. No, he's always been very conscious about his health, about his form and everything else. And the medication that's used in India was, he mentioned that 2 days later, he was almost back to his normal self and ready to get back to do things that he needed to do. So that's the news that blew out today. Let's see if that's going to stick or not. Everybody knows my view. I don't need to say it. We don't need to get taken down again. So, but yeah, that's the topic of the day. We've also got the case in Texas to where after a month and a half, they're considering it a real baby. So no more harvesting. And we've got lots of other stuff going on, like McConnell saying that he's not going to do what everybody wants him to do. And so, yeah, it's I don't know whose voices are going to be heard or not.
And just like they were saying in the chat, there's a good chance people might not hear some voices. And that's why it's better not even to express your opinion about it sometimes, because.
But see, that's sad. That is the state of the world that we're in today, to where true discourse is no longer allowed, which, if I'm not mistaken, was one of the very first things that they wanted to add to the basis, the fundamental principles of the country. That document has been used through numerous countries around the world, including Brazil. It was also adapted afterwards, but the basic principles of that document are also part of the Constitution here. Both sides can't get it together, and at this particular point, there's no point. Well, yeah, you can talk whatever you want on Telegram because that's Russian-based. And as we heard from Putin, whenever he was saying that they were not going to allow the passports in Russia, because he said in Russia, people are free. Imagine that. The Russians telling the Americans that they're not going to do something that the Americans are doing because the Russians are freer than Americans. That kind of tells you about the state of the world that we're in right now. worrisome because we're not supposed to be there. But that's not. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things. It's one of those things that it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. Where you could talk about it and have the best interests put forward, and it wouldn't matter.
Or we could talk about teddy bears, puppies, and unicorns. And hey, you know, I think I saw a frog cross the street the other day. I haven't seen that in a while. Not sure if it's a frog.
I'm glad he made it. That's good. That's a heroic story. I'm glad you restored my faith in humanity with your frog story.
Yeah. I saw a really cute kitten on YouTube the other day. We could spend an hour talking about how the kitten was, you know, talking down to the dog and telling the dog, the big old Dachshund, dog Alemán is like Marmaduke, Great Dane. That's it. You got a kitten talking down a Great Dane, telling him who's boss. You know, that was just funny. So yeah, we can talk about what's going on around the world. We can talk about what's going on around town. We can't talk about what's going on in the news. We can't talk about what's going on in the Capitol. We can't talk about anything that's going around out in the street without the censors having an opinion.
Yeah, free press. That's what I was thinking.
Yay! That's the way to show them, you know. China can't be the only one to put us on a social credit score. And I'm sure mine's been shot to hell by now.
There's still things that we got to be able to find. You know, there's things that we can still address at this point that are not on the flag list. That
I understand, and that's exactly why they're on the flag list, because they're meaningless. Because it affects absolutely nothing, and it entertains.
I don't think all the things not on the flag list are meaningless. There's a lot of other politics that we're still allowed to talk about, and just a great example that you used with the truckers going on strike. We can safely talk about something like that that's actually affecting people, and it's going to affect people.
Yeah, but that's talking about an abuse of power here in Brazil, which is why you can talk about it, because we can talk about the abuse of power and the protests that are going on in France. We can talk about the abuse of power and protests that are going on in Australia, the abuse of power that's going on in New Zealand. And that's the thing. But why do we not have that? Are we not? Isn't it our country? I mean, even though I'm not in the States, I'm here in Brazil, but on the 7th of September, everybody's going out on the streets. And there's a reason why the truckers are going to shut things down, because shit can't keep going on like this. Okay, now here's the thing. The comment of today that I saw is everybody's waiting for the U.S. to stand up. They're waiting for Americans to show who they are and show the rest of the world what needs to be done, the way we always do it. But you know what? They got tired of waiting. And so they're all standing up and doing it. And it's about fucking time that Americans got off their fat ass and got off their woke bullshit and did something about it as well. You know, make your voices heard. That means getting out there whenever this, going, you know, to a supermarket in a group, showing them, look, we're the ones that are running this shit, not y'all. Y'all are employee fucking ease. And that's the thing that they don't get. There are people that don't even have the legal authority to do the stupid ass fucking bullshit they do, but they have a bureaucratic authority. And they have the obsequiousness of the public that says, okay, if you said so, I'm going to do it. Don't know if it's real or true or legal or whatever, but he told me, so I'm going to do it. No. Fuck no. I mean, but that's where we're at right now. Oh, you know, the man said that we got it. Really? Prove it. Oh, you get arrested and then you have to prove your innocence afterward. Ah, gotcha. Because I used to think that people were innocent until proven guilty, you know, unless you're some psychopath from, you know, the godforsaken deserts above the area where their helicopters got taken from us, and tanks and trucks and Humvees and night vision goggles and body armor. I mean, fucking seriously, is anything, none of this is worth people saying fucking stop? No, because we got bills to pay. Because we got to go to whatever's left of our job tomorrow to make some kind of semblance of reality so we can still feel halfway decent that we're surviving through life. Because, hey, that's just the way it is. It's not. It is if you allow it to do. And that's the reason that God's given me a big fucking kick in the ass, because I should have written my book at least 5 years ago, whenever I wanted to, at least 3 years ago, because right now is when my fucking book is actually what makes, we are the universe that we want to create. If we acquiesce, if we give in, if we say, yeah, you're the guy, or I'm just going to do whatever you want me to do, then that's it. There's no more any fucking thing. Your reality is no longer yours. You will be decided by someone else. And that in the 1940s, 1950s, culture in the United States was anathema to American culture. We were a country of freedom-loving people. People who respected each other, but respected the fact they can do within certain limits. When you're not going to kill somebody, you're not going to take their shit. There are certain basic principles that you're not going to get around. Okay, but outside of that, to each his fucking own. And we were all good with that until the 1990s, which is the last time that I was there, when PC was fucking taking over everything, and I was freaking fed up with bullshit.
Well, people wanted to give the government their tax money to take care of them, rather than them having to take care of themselves.
They've been fed that by these freaking Marxist, lazy-ass motherfuckers who don't actually work, and they just go out and read freaking books for 20 freaking years and don't actually know what to fucking do. And so they teach the next freaking generation of what they shouldn't actually fucking do. Now, how do I say that? Because I'm a fucking professor, and I've seen all these sycophants. I mean, freak, I was going to study a master's in economics. I decided not to because every fucking professor there was a Marxist. Because, sorry, I'm not going to learn economics from a Marxist community. That's just not going to fucking happen. Okay, but that's what's being fed into. You don't have another option. Okay, you're going to have Marx 3.A or Marx 4.2 or Marx 5.0. Choose which Marxism that you want. Those are your options. No, none of the fucking above. And when are we going to stand up and go, none of the fucking above? Oh, y'all, get the fuck out.
Me and Rocco were talking about this the other day. How they're still using electric shock therapy on children to, I don't know. I don't know what benefit they're getting from it.
They're using it in an abusive way, like trying to train a fucking dog.
Well, I don't know how they're using it. I don't know how they're using it, but I can only
if they were using electric shock
it
to actually stimulate certain parts of the brain that they have identified that cause the bad neural interactions, if they're doing that with electric shock, fine, that can actually help their situation. That is science. But in the majority of the cases, they're not. They're just getting their rocks off by shocking some fucking retard going, hey, look what I can do. Yeah, come at me again, you freaking moron.
When I compared it to, what's it called, where they stick that fucking needle in your eye that they used to practice because they thought it somehow helped calm the person down. What's it called? Lobotomy? When you get that needle shoved all the way in your eye and they basically scramble your brain for you.
Oh my God. They basically make stew out of your brain. Lobotomy. Yeah, it's really calm when you're fucking brain dead.
Yeah.
That's science, man. That's the fucking science.
That's when they first started that crazy shock therapy that they were doing, and they were doing weird stuff.
Because they were abusive fucks. They only wanted to dominate the other, and that's my biggest fucking problem with all of it. The marketing and everything else, the manipulation, it's control of another individual. That is not our fucking right. And that is what they continue to freaking do. Now, That I would get behind. Yes, there are, but then again, there's another famous quote that says, the silent majority enables um, the abusive minority. Our acquiescence allows them to continue doing what they're doing, and they've been doing that for a long fucking time. Yeah, Clockwork Orange was some fucked up movie. Holy shit. Yeah, Clockwork freaking Orange. Holy cow. Are we there yet?
Talk about
Are
mind
we fucking there
control.
yet?
That's mind control and programming. I feel like we are in fractions, but I wouldn't say we are as a whole yet.
Well, the president of the CIA, the director of the CIA, once said in 1963, if everything that the American public believes is a lie, then we know that we've done our job. And isn't basically every fucking thing that people have been told on TV, movies, media, and all that kind of bullshit a flat out fucking lie? And we're finding out about it now? And so there's no coincidence there. These psychotic fucks have been trying to screw with us for decades. And only now there's an awakening that people are finally finding out because Orange Man Bad got in there and he told everybody that, shit wasn't real. It hasn't been real for a long fucking time, but nobody noticed because it was too fucking comfortable, more or less. They keep turning up the heat. That sauna keeps just getting a little bit hotter. And that frog that made it across the street, yeah, he made it right into a pan of warm water.
I got a good one I'm going to pull up for you.
On top of an open fire. Frog's legs, anybody? Peppy Lives Matter, I guess. That's a good Telegram page. But yeah, Telegram is you can say anything on Telegram. Rumble, I haven't had any problem with either. The problem with Rumble is that you don't get that much traffic. Now, Telegram, it depends on how much you reach out. Okay. I follow a lot of the main things. I get a lot of my news off Telegram, but I can't. I have to shut it down because if I open up Telegram, it's message after message after message on a constant basis, and it's just you can't do anything else and focus on that. It's just not possible. And now I multitask. I do 3-4 things at the same freaking time, but even that, it's takes your attention because when Linwood's saying one thing and Flynn's saying another, and then you got another one coming out of Taylor Green, and you got another one coming out of Bobart and everything else. Yeah, because I don't listen to no fucking MSNBC. I did hear something about Mad Cow getting canceled. If somebody in the chat could actually tell me about that one, that would be fun.
Let it get out on Westbrook. You will not lie, cheat, or steal, or tolerate those who do. I was the CIA director. We lied, we cheated, we stole. It was like we had entire training courses. It reminds you of the glory of the American experiment.
What was that supposed to be?
That was the old CIA director, and he was talking about basically his job was to lie, cheat, and steal, and they tried to act like at West Point that they wanted people to be honest, but I mean, as a CIA director, he wasn't like that at all, and he publicly acknowledged it.
Too many secrets. It's not even. They don't start off bad. It's just that it turns out that way because they got too many secrets they can't let anybody know. And so they have to obfuscate. They have to kind of distract you over this way because, we don't want you knowing about that yet because they know about all that shit. And so what happens, you start covering stuff up and you end up like Biden. You don't know what the fuck is real anymore. And so you just say whatever is on your mind because you can't differentiate between all the fucking lies and the reality because you've been living in both worlds. He's been living in the lies longer than anything else. It's like Hillary Clinton just saying the shit that comes sometimes. You have a public persona and a private persona. Two-faced. That's just
like
the way it is, right?
I mean, you got to do it like you do your emails. You got your public emails and you got your private emails, right? Isn't that how that
And then
works?
you got those inside your back closet, which are, ultra secret.
No,
That's
you
why they're in
already
your
you
back
already
closet.
talked about them. They're already deleted. Too late.
Okay. They've been deleted. 33,000 of them deleted. Somebody's got them somewhere.
I don't
Someday
think I don't know why. But why do you think they would get backed up? What makes you think they'd want to save them?
everything gets saved.
I think there's a footprint.
Everything gets saved.
I think everything has a footprint, but I don't necessarily think everything gets saved.
Everything gets saved. If you know the size of the energy use of these server farms, I mean, just for an idea, and this isn't governmental. I mean, the government's freaking huge.
No, I'm
Google,
gonna say maybe more nowadays, but it hasn't been like that since we've had the internet. There's a lot of things that, like, before we had the Wayback Machine, there's sites on the internet that you'll never know about again unless you lived it and were around and were able to experience them.
yeah, the Wayback Machine. Where the fuck do you think the Wayback Machine gets some of its info? I'm still curious about that one. But the NSA has been keeping our shit for a long fucking time. Why? Because they need to go back and track it if something happened. There's no way for you to go, oh, this guy here. What was he doing 2 weeks ago? Who was he talking to? And what was that? And they can't do that back trail if they don't store it. Now, what happens is stored, nobody's looking at it, so you still got your freedom. But it's there. The day that they want it, it's right fucking there. Because there ain't a fucking thing that has been transmitted as far as I know from the 1986 when I knew about Echelon. Okay, absolutely fucking nothing hasn't been recorded. And when we doubt, oh no, nobody can possibly, it's too much fucking information. We're generating more information per day than we have in the last 500 years and more than the last 5,000 years. And so there's just too much information flowing out. It's a freaking fire hose. Yeah, they got swimming pools and swimming pools of small lakes and oceans to store all that crap. And they've been working on that shit much longer than we even know. I mean, fuck, they were using DARPA in the 50s and 60s, and we only found out about that shit in 1995. Okay, so tell me they aren't able to do that crap? I mean, holy fucking, I mean, we love the internet today, but they've been using a DARPA net for 60 fucking years. There's so much far, and now we know that you can actually store information in crystals more efficiently than what you can in other things. And now we're finding out that you can actually store information in DNA. DNA might actually be a storage base. And so now we're finding out that you can store things quantumly and inside elements. So you can use like a cube of freaking salt to store what's in my hard drive. So the technology that they have would blow your fucking mind how monkey-like backwards our reality is compared to what's possible. And they do that so we don't think so that we won't think that they're capable of doing those sorts of things. And my wife tells me, oh no, you're talking about nanobots inside a liquid and stuff that, no, that's not true. Okay. So there are 5 patents that I know about. There's 3 videos from Bill Gates that I know about talking about specific areas in the brain that they want to be able to alter, different artificial intelligence teaching units to get together, and the microtization of all of that into things like this modern super material. I mean, I fucking love graphene. That shit's freaking awesome. You can make better than Kevlar vests. That stuff's stronger than steel. It's actually almost like a superconductor in the right elements. It can actually be used as a computer chip source, like silicon based, okay, for calculations and everything else. I mean, graphene is freaking awesome. Problem is that it's toxic to the human body. So it's good to wear in clothes and equipment and everything else. Not so good when it's flowing around and accumulating in certain places. But that's neither here nor there because none of that shit fucking exists, right?
Yeah, we're not supposed to know of its existence, but it does.
Problem is, for example, the problem is what people do with it. And if they did good things with it, that would be great. The problem is that good people are in charge, and they usually aren't. You usually get the worst of the worst self-centered, narcissistic sycophants that get to the top because they can actually, manipulate their way there. And so those are the ones calling the shots. And guess what? They're usually calling the shots for themselves. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities of the dark realms. We don't see them. They're not out there in the public. They put some other fucking idiot to get the tomatoes thrown at them. Well, they're doing the fucking bullshit in the background. Or you think 2008 actually should have cost us the $2.4 trillion that we spent to bail out the banks, when that was like 5 times the size of the loans that were outstanding? If we would have bailed out the homeowners, the entire banking system would have remained stable because everything that they were leveraging on would have been paid. It's a lot fucking easier to pay the leverage base than everything that's been leveraged on it. And they were trying to fill up the leverage part from the very top, which is the biggest freaking part. And all of it just went nowhere, except into big fucking people's pockets. And everybody that should have been protected, the government was created to protect, those are the ones that got screwed. I mean, my parents' generation lost 40 fucking % of their savings because most people had it in ERAs and IRAs and in pension funds and in stocks and bonds and everything else. Guess what? All that's tied in the same shit, 40%. Boom. Almost half of what you worked for 35 fucking years, gone. Because some sick motherfucker decided to bet too much and fucked everything else, and everybody else decided to bail out the banks instead of bailing out the people. I mean, who the fuck is government for? We've known for years that it's for the corporations.
We just throw the people a $200 stimulus, and
because there's too many of them, we can't take care of everybody. Well, how about this? There's fucking too many of us. They can't stop every fucking one of us if we go together. It's like that crickets thing in the Ants movie. If they find out that there's 100 of them to one of us, if they find out that they actually have the numbers, we're toast. Our lifestyle, our standard of living is gone. And that's exactly what George Bush said. He wanted to protect his standard of living, which means we keep getting more fucked and more controlled. And that's the freaking point of all of these elite. I don't care who they are. The only ones that I would remove from the list, maybe because holy shit, they got there, so there had to be something fucking twisted about them in order to get there. The only two that I would actually pull out of the fire would be Trump and Reagan. That is it. The rest of them, sick fucking pieces of shit that made our country worse. Well, Clinton had economic great things, but he set the basis for the eroding of the American middle class with NAFTA and everything else. I mean,
that's the other one thing I do always give to Clinton is the fact that he was the one person that
great things, but he set the basis for the eroding of.
Sorry, I had a little reverb coming through.
You were listening to me again.
Yeah. And, what I was going to say was the best thing about Clinton was the fact that he actually came forward and apologized for some of these government programs that were going on that a lot of people didn't know about. And I didn't expect anybody to ever come forward in the government and acknowledge these programs and the people that were abused in them, whether you're talking Montauk or whether you're talking MK Ultra or any of these other government programs that people were involved in as test subjects.
Yeah, but wasn't it Clinton that told Janet Reno to do what they did?
Oh, I'm not saying
in a place south of Dallas.
I'm not saying that there wasn't problems with his administration. What I'm saying is he's the only one that came out and was in support of whistleblowers, at least publicly.
The right whistleblowers. Because Monica Lewinsky didn't count. That's wrong whistle, I guess. That's another story. Yeah, it could be. The problem is that there was one of the guys that I listened to. I don't know if it was Jacob Israel or if it was Trey Smith, but they were talking about a dream they had to where there was this fence You had the good side and the bad side, evil people. And you had a lot of people sitting on that fence. And God was just shaking that fence back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And everybody kept falling off to one side or the other, one side or the other. And he said, in the end, there'll be nobody on the fence. You'll make your choice, either God or the devil. Choose your side. One side says everybody can do whatever they want. It's all good. Another side says, look, do the right thing. It'll go well. So do the right thing. Not because you have to, because, you want to. Because that's the only way you can do it. It's free will. You can't obligate anybody to do a damn thing. Otherwise, it's not meaningful. It's worthless. I mean, Darth Vader had people standing at attention the entire time, and that guy was loved and admired by so many. Wow. Like Kim Jong-un, he goes down and he's got thousands and millions of people chanting his name every time he walks anywhere. They think he's a freaking god. How awesome is that? Because if they don't, their family dies. So how's that fucking great for you? Okay, so that's what these sycophants actually want. They want everybody in lockstep doing exactly what they want them to do because, oh, look at those little peeps. Those sheep are so cute. Let's harvest those 3 over there, and those 2, no, we need to put them in jail. What? I don't like them. They're ugly. Fuck them. They're wearing the wrong hat. There was a kid today was arrested and fingerprinted, registered, because he was wearing a red hat with a certain slogan on it. Show me your papers, please.
Mm.
And you can't be that party because that's not allowed. That party isn't allowed. That should be a phrase, but that should be a phrase that would be used for the Communist Party, the Marxist Party, or the Neo-Socialist Party. Those should be parties that are not allowed, but not yet. Party that wants conservative values and freedom, no, that can't be allowed because those guys are a menace to society. Really? No, they're a menace to the structure because their control is they become too abusive. I mean, they were getting away with it. It's like I used to tell my dad, he goes, I used to say that, corruption in Mexico was so bad we had a recession every 6 years because the president found out how much the previous president robbed. And so we had to sort of make amends. And so we'd be in a recession for a couple of years. Every 6 years, every new presidency, we got that cycle. That's the level of corruption. You never have a president that actually retires in Mexico. They all leave somewhere else where they especially can't be extradited. And I'd say that's the great thing about living in the U.S. And he goes, well, corruption exists there. And I said, yeah, but at least they let everybody go. They scrape off, 10, 15% off the top, but they allow the pie to grow. So that 10 or 15% ends up being more because the pie actually grew. But they got fucking greedy as hell. And so that idea that actually worked and they could do well, they had to keep feeding their freaking fantasies. And now they're killing the fucking cow and expecting it to still give you meat and milk at the same time. No, you get one or the other. You can't have meat and milk. They want both. But the thing is that we all live off milk. Because we're the ones producing the fucking milk. The meat they're eating is because we're gone. That's the thing. We got robots and AIs and everything else. We got jobs just, going out to, slave farms in China to make the shoes that people used to make in Mexico or wherever. As people haven't done that in the States for a long time. But then again, there were very good shoe manufacturers in Italy. Great Italian shoes. Expensive as shit, but high fucking quality. They're gone now. I remember my dad in Mexico, we bought some Italian chairs with leather seats and that sort of thing. Really nice, top quality and everything else. The furniture and that sort of stuff from Italy is phenomenal. Not anymore. They started importing the wood from China, and they brought in the leather also from China, and they brought in the nails also from China. And then they figured out, well, you know what, we can, we're already buying all the materials from China, so we'll just buy the chair from China. They started importing it. And so, yeah, they got more money because, they had less employees and they had the same price and even a little bit lower price, but they had bigger profits. And yeah, that's great. All of a sudden, the industries throughout Italy started shutting down. And, well, if somebody's unemployed, they can't buy your shit.
It's true.
That's what happened to the U.S. Thank you very much, Henry Kissinger. That was his plan fucking 60 years ago. Use slave labor one way to increase your profits now. If somebody else loses their job, fuck them. They're just slaves. We'll do something else with them or they can fucking die. I mean, how much has the government in California cared about the homeless people to where now we have tracking devices to find out if there's feces on your street? Great. Just let them die. And yet this freaking idiot doesn't want to be recalled. It's just, where is people's humanity? I mean, we're about controlling other individuals, not about being kind human beings.
Well, no, that's because you're taught publicly what is considered a humane act, what is considered a good thing, and then when you're taught the wrong things are good things, and vice versa about protecting, our veterans, our homeless, our anything that these people that we owe probably a debt of gratitude in society are
probably. We're free because
I don't feel like every homeless person that society has a.
I was talking about the veterans.
The veterans as well, but it just depends.
Homeless people are human beings.
Yeah,
they deserve some modicum of dignity.
Well, and as Americans, they deserve basic human rights like everybody else.
Yeah, but what does human rights include? See, that's when I was studying my master's in 2007. One of the things that I wanted to figure out was what new economic basis for the planet or for an economy would be, because we're at the end of the Kundiev cycle of capitalism, and I'm afraid that the next Kundiev cycle is leading us into communism. That's not a good fucking system. So, there are other options we can try and implement before that grandiose fucking takeover from the next freaking system, because when that happens, forget about it. I mean, there's nothing that you'll be able to do. You will do what they tell you to do, period. You will say what they tell you to say. And in some cases, eventually, hey, Tiffany, eventually that little chip in your brain will, as soon as you think a thought, it'll go, no. You don't want to say that. You can't say that. You'll try, and then your lips will not be able to say the word because you will be physically incapable of doing that. That's where I'm seeing this go. That's not about a cyborg having, the internet in his brain at all times so he can capture any information that he wants at any instant. It's about the internet being in your brain all the time and being able to control you all the fucking time. Because if you think the human brain is not hackable, you are mistaken. They've already hacked it. They've already done it. The problem is that it's not that easy to do from outside of the brain. Once you're in there, they know the programming languages. They know the sectors that do what. Okay, and they know how they interact. They know how to break the blood-brain barrier. So they know how to do all these things. They just haven't been able to implement it before. But that's their objective.
I noticed the other day I punched an address in on my GPS. I think it was when I was going to see the show in Decatur, where Terry was at, where we went to that wrestling event. And when I punched it in the GPS, when we got close, I thought it was interesting that for the first time ever, I heard it's the building across the street from the Burger King. And it's like, why did they have to mention that it was across this, like they had to say Burger King in it. And I didn't understand why. You know what I mean? And those are those subtle ads that are going to start getting into things. And those are what I worry about, especially when you talk about Neuralink and stuff like that. You're just going to be driving by a company, and all of a sudden
you don't know you're hungry yet, but we just got a signal from your stomach, which tells us that it's about 25% going on to reserves. So we recommend that you pull over in the Taco Bell that's on the next exit. And according to your previous orders, we can already make the order for number 4 combo for you, and it should be ready if you pull off on the next.
Would you like us? You drive by a building. Would you like us to order your regular?
Exactly.
Oh,
welcome, God. Jacob. You're still half a mile away, but the GPS knows that you're going in that direction.
Yeah.
Are you having your regular? We'll have it ready for you when you're here. Thank you very much for your service, for your patronage. Yeah, we're almost there, man. We're almost. It's not that unfathomable because they know where your GPS is going. They know what you've been doing. They know your. I mean, fuck, like I was talking about in the beginning, the. Google, I'd love to know what Tiffany was laughing at, but anyway, just
Google like laughing at how you did the voice of "Welcome, Jacob." If you just continue further down the street, you might be able to purchase your regular meal.
By the way, after you're done with your veggie sandwich, because we know that you don't like meat, there is a sale on wrestling shorts in the shopping mall to southeast of you. If you care, there's a 50% sale on shoes as well, so you can get a good grip on the mat. You did have that conversation last week, and so we recommend the blue pair with the hyper grip bottoms. They can be available for you as you walk in if you choose. That's where we're at. But then again, this isn't new because you have Tom Cruise making a movie about just that a decade and a half ago. So how fucking new is it? It's just new to us because we're just finding out about this shit being real now, or possibly being real, visibly, markedly, near enough to be real very soon.
Want to hear my other what grind my gears rant? So I think it's interesting that you can get ticketed in the U.S. for distracted driving, like looking at your phone or something like that. But the only time you will ever see a billboard is when you're driving. They put these giant ads on the side of the road to distract you.
Some highways have actually banned. I know roads that have banned the billboards in cities because they are too much of a distraction. But hell, the majority of them don't care. So yeah, it's a huge distraction. And I loved Mud Rabbit's comment there that you put up. That was, yeah, your bladder's full. There's a rest stop, in 5 kilometers. We would recommend it because the next one's 30 miles away, and we don't think you'll make it.
Yeah. And this one has a Taco Bell.
Oh yeah, the second stall is stopped up. You'll have to use the first one for your Taco Bell needs. Imagine a world. What would be the meaning of existence in a world like that? I mean, why? I mean, we debate now. Why are we here? I've got a 17-year-old that's debating. Okay, that's the conversation in chat that I need to look into. But there's.
Well, I mean, the world that we're going to live in like that is going to be the same one that we're looking at now. It's that idea of they're going to sell it to you as convenience, and then you're going to be giving up more rights than you're actually thinking about. They're going to sell it to you as convenience. They're going to sell you the orange that's already peeled. They're going to sell you.
Did you watch the movie Player One?
Yeah, Ready Player One.
Yeah. Where they were living in the stacks.
Mm-hmm.
Remember what stacks were? They were trailer homes, just stacked on top of each other. And everybody was cool because they were all in their virtual reality. And they were competing on who had the best virtual reality kit. So they're no longer competing about having something decent in the real world. They were living there. And how far removed is that from the Matrix?
I mean, I feel like the Matrix is a projected illusion. I don't feel like that's what we're thinking about when we're talking about the Neuralink. I think it's a distraction more than an illusion.
Oh no. The Matrix is more like Ready Player One. That world what was the name of that? I forgot what the name of that world was that everybody went into, Odyssey or some shit like that. But it's the attempt to create a perfect reality to where people will be in that and not worry about anything else. In other words, they'll be useful batteries, because you got to find some use for them. I'm assuming that's why the robots created batteries out of them, because there had to be some use for these useless freaking carbon suits. I mean, if we're not producing anymore, if we're not working anymore, then what the fuck are we supposed to do? Now there's AI that's starting to replace lawyers for a lot of easier tasks and simpler tasks. I mean, AI has been replacing accountants for a very long time. I mean, that's some of the first stuff that got, automized, because keeping the books and everything else had to be perfect, no mistakes, because that's your money they're talking about. So you can't fuck with our money. So we'll protect the money first, and then we'll figure everything else out. And that's the way things run. But that's not the way life is. I mean, money was a tool for you to get the things, and it was supposed to be an intermediary between services.
Well, as Michael would say, you put your money on a blockchain where you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, and then it just grows without you having to do anything, and then you're guaranteed.
Cut the middleman out.
Yeah, and you can come online one day and says, feels good to make $4 million in a day. Fuck off, Mike. Fuck off. Just fuck off, man. Yeah, that's irritating, because no, I haven't gotten my Bitcoin yet. I actually have to have money to be able to throw away into Bitcoin in order to have one. So
throw away?
It's all virtual. There's nothing tangible to it. And if that system goes down, if all the systems go down,
there's an ATM in my town. I can go cash out any Bitcoin that I have, or other major cryptocurrencies.
Oh yeah, and those stocks that I have for Enron, I can cash those in anytime I want as well. I mean, they were good as gold. You remember Enron?
Thanks, Rocco. I don't know what I got a matrix means, but
he needs to unplug, I guess.
I hope we're not the plug-in.
We're in the matrix. I mean, you and I are virtual at this point. What's real about us?
What's real about us? The fact that
we're getting into Leo.
The fact that let's get esoteric. The fact that we're communicating through technology over vast distances, something that could never be achieved before, that shows our realness. The fact that me and you don't do a edited podcast shows our realness. The fact that we don't have backgrounds in studios, and we're not trying to. The production isn't there, and I don't want it.
One of our fans said we're authentic.
Hey, West Haven. Thanks for sharing out the stream. I appreciate it.
Idaho, thank you much. Appreciate it. Yeah, that's yeah. But still, how real is Luke? How real is Joe Rogan? How real is okay, that's a better topic. Go ahead, Terry. Take it away. What was Jacob dreaming about last night?
I didn't dream much last night. I took some edibles before I started the podcast that I did last night, and I ended up crashing like a baby. That was one of the first times I slept all the way through the night. I usually wake up every few hours, but I haven't taken any edibles in a while. It was nice getting a sound sleep.
Yeah, that's what edibles are there for, I guess. Thanks, Tiff. Yeah, that's been one of the things, because yeah, there's been a couple of parts to where we even played around with. You actually said, If you missed the last, if there's a jump, well, it's because Mike ran his mouth off and I had to edit that out. So yeah, on the final cast, yeah, there's a lot of my stupid bullshit that you have to edit out. And I apologize for that. Yeah. See, mine.
No, dreams were normal. Nothing too crazy, but it was a good night.
Wait, you took edibles and actually dreamed?
Yeah, I think you can dream off of edibles. I don't think I drank. I don't think I dreamed last night because I was drinking. I think alcohol stops you from having dreams, but I don't think
stops you from having dreams. That's
I don't
why
think marijuana does.
I haven't had dreams for fuck all. I do whenever I'm sober. And there's kind of that's a kind
do
of
you think it's marijuana, or do you think it could be other things?
I don't get that drunk. And
I'm just saying, I think even a small amount of alcohol dampers on that. The other thing, I mean, I feel like you can override it by drinking like apple juice or something like apple cider.
Yeah, they're talking about blackout drunk and that sort of shit. No, you don't have any fucking dreams at all. But whenever I do have dreams, because I've been sober for days and it's usually off pot. Well, yeah, because everything else I can be sober off not drink is shit. I've gone a week or more without drinking because it's a pain in the ass. I don't like it. I prefer beer. But not always possible. I got no problems with water. And I also wanted to test during Lent. So I stopped for 40 days there. But I didn't stop the other one. So yeah, rapid eye movement is a section of the brain. This was part of basic psychology that I took and that sort of thing. I was extremely interested in those.
Oh yeah, no, I have periods in my life where I go three plus years without going into a REM sleep. My sleep schedules are wild.
But you still get REM sleep. It just gets what happens is you
have to sleep for more than a 2.5 hour period in order to hit REM sleep. Most people can't just pass into REM sleep.
Okay, hold on.
Because there are steps to getting there.
My psychology books would say the following: REM sleep is the 5th stage in the sleep cycle. We have 3 or 4 sleep cycles when we sleep. Those sleep cycles can be anywhere from 1.5 hours to 2.5 hours, depending on the type of personality you are. But if you do not get enough sleep and the REM, you don't actually get into the REM section, you are extremely tired. And what happens is that your body will enter into REM sleep. It will jump past stages. You'll like start in 1, then you go 2, 3, 4, and then 5. And you'll do the REM because your body needs the REM. Without the REM, you'll go nuts, your body will crash and everything else. Because during the REM sleep is whenever you actually have your memory downloads, your learning, and your healing processes for your muscles, your bones, and everything else, because you also go into a state of paralysis, okay, to where you can't run while you're dreaming. You're chasing that wild boar and you're going to throw the spear at the wild boar. Well, your legs aren't going to be kicking in the bed while you're running down after that boar. You're not going to hit your girlfriend in the head because you're throwing the spear at the boar.
Oh no, I can make my body move outside of being in a subconscious level of sleep. Because that's the one thing I used to do is I used to sleepwalk a lot. I talk in my sleep. I also move around a lot, and I feel like I can control my dreams to a certain extent.
You can control your dreams if you're aware of them.
But no, before we go
once you start controlling them, they're over because you're.
Before we start this, I got to say hi to our resident troll, who he popped into our Zoom stream, and he's the guy he's a young kid that doesn't know how to work his green screen in the background, and he was coming on trolling last time. He was a lot of fun though, and once he realized that he liked our chat, but he just popped in and popped out. He had the name Maurice on, but I could always see his face because he's not good at using the green screen, and he's either too close or too far away from the camera, and he thinks he's invisible. He always comes in with a different name, but. Yeah, our resident troll stopped by.
That you can last for 3 weeks without food. You can go 3-4 days without water. Without sleep, your body actually breaks down. Okay. That's one of the things. That's one of the comments that I'd gone into the chat to find out what, try and get caught up. And yeah, your body breaks down. Sleep is one of the things that we most need. So our brain will take care of that. That's why people like Biden are sitting there in the middle of a meeting and he's catching some rim right there. It's a hectic schedule being leader of the free world. And, he had to catch a little shut eye while he was during that press conference. He wasn't saying anything. So he just took a quick little update. The body needs it and it shuts us down in order to do what it needs to do. There are some basic functions that you can't get around. Now,
and just the recharging. And
the healing. People that don't sleep are unhealthy. They have
high DP. Thanks for stopping diseases. In. Appreciate it. He's he's one of our guests that stopped by the other night.
I recognize your name.
He's got a bunch of drones. He's from Europe and I believe Scotland, if I'm not mistaken. He came on. He had one of the thickest accents I've ever heard. I loved it. He had a beautiful accent, and I was having trouble making it out. So I had another guy that was on with me at the time, and he was jokingly translating, but doing a horrible job at it.
From English to English, is that it?
Yes.
From English to American. From Scottish to English to American. Okay, so he was showing you a collar. That's some sick shit that you guys are into, but hey, that's up to you.
I'll teach you. I already know collar ties. Come on. I've been doing collar ties and stuff like that. I feel like so much of my wrestling is relatable to a certain extent. Is
that related to the Colombian necktie?
I know Russian neckties. I know Colombian neckties. There's all kinds of different terms for necktie.
They hang your tongue down.
But the Russian and the Brazilian neckties are actual wrestling moves. Yes, there's other terminology for things.
Okay, didn't know about that one.
A Japanese whizzer is also a version of a necktie, and it's a Japanese move. That's from an arm drag. But no, I'm a very big technical wrestler. And I already thought of what my special move would be if I was a professional wrestler that's relatable to regular wrestling. It's called a spladle. It's a very painful move.
Which one?
It's called a spladle.
Spladle. There was one that I actually tried when I was sparring with a friend of mine, and I was actually impressed that it worked. It really did, actually. Do you remember on the Avengers movie, Black Widow taken out? It was the Avengers movie because she was there with Iron Man's driver or some shit. And he was sitting there boxing and sparring with one guy, and she went in there and she took out like 18 different guys, a couple of the discs and all that kind of shit. But there was one move to where she steps on the guy's left thigh, flips herself around the guy, wraps his neck in a thing, and then tosses him to the ground off the inertia of her moving. And he's down, with a rope with a string around his neck, and she's ready for the next 2 or 3 that are coming on. So I remembered that move, and I'm like, the other is technology and it's whatever. And I wonder if that move actually works. It looks interesting. And so I had a friend of mine that actually Junior, you know him. So a couple of years ago, we were just sparring. He wanted to see what it was like, and so I was playing with him, and I just wanted to try that one out. And he left himself open on that left side, and I said, "Black Widow, all right." And I went in there and I did it, and boom, took him right down to the ground. And he was like caught by surprise because he had never gotten taken down to the ground before, because he's used to Fernando's a friend of ours, and so he's a judo wrestler. So he likes to get in and get you down to the ground. And so Junior has been defending against that his entire life. And so I got in there, got him off his center of balance, and took him down with that move.
When it comes to defending against judo, it's all about getting your hips away from the other person. If you can control where your placement of your hips are, they won't take you down, because most judo is throws and tosses.
Yeah, I know. I started.
I know. Just for people listening, and we're talking about 4 different martial arts at the moment. So I figured,
yes, it's where your foot stance is, where your hips are, and whether or not they can take your center of balance away from you. And spreading out allows them to not be able to dominate you as easily. Whenever you center your mass, it's easier to distort that from time to time. Unless, of course, we're talking about other forms to where if they're trying to throw you, then yes, you will center your mass because you're a lot heavier to throw, than if they're just throwing your shoulders and the rest is dragged along. That's one thing. But if they're trying to heave your entire body mass, that's a whole another fucking situation.
Well, yeah, or I say you go through you overexpose, and what you do is you throw your momentum into their throw to overroll it, and then roll into a more positive.
And roll then.
Yeah, exactly.
As you're going down, you continue your momentum. If you know it's coming, you can actually put your foot down and then throw that motherfucker right afterwards. Yeah, her hips, I'm sure, lie plenty. Because they'll tell you they want one thing, and she'll be telling you she don't want it, and whatever. But that's a whole nother series. However, there's this thing that I know it's a Zorro movie. It doesn't fucking count, but it makes sense.
Are you about to use martial arts and Zorro in the same sentence?
Is that there was this section in the Zorro movie with Banderas, Antonio Banderas or whatever, and he was there with I think Anthony Hopkins was his teacher, and they had these circles of control. And so what he was teaching Zorro was different types of weapons for different circles of control. For example, if they're further out, then yes, the sword. If they're further in, if they're in that center circle, then it's the small dagger. And if they're the interior circle, then you have to be able to know judo and everything else. And so I kind of took that idea and I'm like, yeah, you're absolutely right. So if you're on the outside circle, I'm kicking your ass. Okay, I'm kicking your knees, I'm kicking your legs, I'm kicking your hips, your ribs. I'm taking my legs because the longest reach that I have are my legs. If you get up in close, oh, my legs don't work anymore. Well, you've also got the Muay Thai elbows and knees. And so that's your inner circle. Then whenever they get into close contact, well, yeah, then you've got your corporal movement of jiu-jitsu and judo and that sort of thing to try and use theirs.
The majority of fights do go to the ground. You're going to find it very rare that you're
I don't like to go to the ground. I avoid the ground at all fucking costs. I prefer to knock your fucking block off while you're on your feet. If you go down to the ground, you ain't getting back up ever.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole point. You don't go to the fucking ground. You're meat when you're on the ground. When you're up, you got 4 fucking arms and space that you can actually use. Sun Tzu.
And you're not holding somebody else's weight, plus trying to defend yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I look at those MMA fighters and they keep going to the ground, and I'm like, holy fuck, why? And I see that I got a fighter from Brazil. That guy, he's got this long legs, and he's always taking out your knees, but he's always putting you on the ground, and he's got a way that he just takes you out real smooth. But yeah, that's never been my style. My dad enjoyed that because he'd always use the weight and get on top and just pummel the shit out of people. Because once he's on top, he's just boom, 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 boom. He'll have his knees on your arms and his legs around you. You can't do shit. He's just pummeling your face and you can't think about shit. I don't like to get to that point. So yeah, it's I go after articulations. I make sure you can't move. Take out your knees. I'll break your arms. I'll break your wrists. And if I get in close, I'll break whatever else I need to. But I don't like going to the ground.
Oh yeah, that was my biggest thing in wrestling is because of my size, I was always the shorter guy compared to my opponent. And so yeah, it was easy. You just take out the legs. They tip right over.
Yeah, but with short people, it's easier to hit the head.
I mean, I don't know why you'd want to. I guess. I mean, if you're going into a punch, like when I'm going into
you're in the middle of a fight. There's nothing that's not valid in the middle of a freaking fight.
The fact that they could, depending on who you're facing, I wouldn't underestimate my opponent, and the fact that they could just turn their head, they could just turn their head slightly, and I got a better risk of breaking my whole hand from trying to punch their head. So unless it's a clean, I wasn't talking about punching. Oh, but no, that's one of the things I've always done.
Remember,
I count how many in my head, how many shots I could take from the person before I could wrap them up, because I know how fast I can get them to the ground. It's just a matter of how many punches can you take, and can that person hold their distance like they should be able to. That's the real question. I know a little bit of I know a decent amount of striking, but I don't use it unless I have to.
We need to turn on the disco lights for because we got a romance going on right now. They're singing love songs back and forth between Tiffany and Terry. I mean, we got the next line coming up. All right, we can play that music. No, we'll get a copyright strike. Sorry. But yeah, that music is on the playlist on my channel. So yeah, there's favorites for the book, but there's also good music that I have on there, and Shakira is on that list, as well as Carlos Santana. I've also got Metallica, Guns N' Roses, and all kinds of other funky shit. It's more than 400 songs that are on there over years, but yeah, that's my list. Anyway, I told Junior about it.
I'm glad he got onto it offline.
Do what?
I said I'm glad you're a Shakira fan offline.
Actually, I got to like her after my dad started playing a CD in his Audi when I was visiting one time, and I actually liked the beat of it. You know, it's sort of this. It's not sort of. It is a Latin beat. I mean, she's from fucking Colombia, and so it makes you want to move, makes you want to dance, and that sort of shit. But more than anything, she knows how to move and dance, and so you know the best thing about those songs are her videos anyway. And to be honest, I've watched Shakira go up against, because lots of different artists wanted to do videos with her. Among them, Beyonce, you had Madonna doing videos with her, you had some others.
J-Lo?
Oh, yeah, J-Lo. But Shakira just blew them all away.
I don't know. I mean, I put J-Lo pretty high up on that.
Yeah, but whenever you put them face to face, you actually see that girl's got skills. That girl knows how to dance. The other ones, they got filler. Yeah, and that's the thing about music. It should be entertaining and enjoyable and that sort of thing. It's great stuff. Yeah, I like to move it. That's another fucking movie. That zebra could rock, though, man. That zebra was fucking awesome. Yeah, Chris Rock. That's another guy that I got to give a shout out to. He's been saying some stuff recently that makes a lot of fucking sense. Like he's got a video on how not to get shot by the police. You start by shut the fuck up. Second, don't commit a fucking crime. You know, you just go down the list on stupid shit that people do that will get their ass fucking shot. So yeah, Chris Rock, shout out, kudos to that guy. But anyway, he'll never see this, and he doesn't give a fuck who this white cracker is. So anyway,
he's also got one of my favorite jokes is the only time a white person can use the N-word, and it's like this big list of stipulations about basically if you get robbed at night and
the hood pass. You can use it if you get the hood pass.
Drops a TV on your foot and then pees on you and all this other stuff, and then they get a ticket and it happens at a certain time. Like you have 1 minute at a certain time of the day, and as long as you have the ticket from the police officer, you're allowed to say it one time. And I was just like, oh man, it's such a good ramble rant about the one stipulation where it's allowed.
Or you can just have a hood pass, like our buddy that called in.
Oh, yeah.
That frees it.
I don't know if his is as real as the one Chris Rock describes.
Oh, Chris Rock's is real because, I mean, that's fucking legit. There ain't nothing more legit than Chris Rock, man.
Oh, yeah. If Chris Rock or Dave Chappelle give you a pass, then you might be okay. But anybody else, I don't feel like it's going to be accepted.
But you know what? You go down into South Central and you go, yo, and they come up to you going, you said, what, white boy? My way. Dave Chappelle gave me a pass. I said, I don't know, no Dave Chappelle. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, it doesn't matter who the fuck gives you the pass. If the person in front of you doesn't give you a pass, you're going to get your ass whooped.
Well, and you just don't assume you just don't walk around assuming you have a pass in other hoods. That's why it's called a hood pass. It's not called a universal pass all the way across the U.S.
but it works if the internet connection is in your hood, right?
Oh, that's what I was wondering. But maybe I'm confused. I don't know the rules.
If you got the internet connection in your hood and you're talking from your hood, you can talk shit wherever you want, right? Hey, I'm down in my hood. I can talk shit I want because y'all got to buy a really fucking expensive plane ticket and go way the fuck out to God knows where and freaking try and find my ass in order to come somewhere and do something. So, yeah, I'm fucking safe. As long as I'm not speaking in Portuguese, because then I'm screwed. Because everybody knows where I'm at, who I am. Because I've been in the same fucking place for 20 years. You know, I've been under house arrest for at least 10. So, you know, everybody knows where I'm at. Whether people care or not, that's another fucking story. People got their lives. They do what they do. They have their families and their girlfriends and their children and their jobs and their hobbies. You know, we believe we matter when in the big sense of it, we don't matter for fuck all other than the people that we are immediately around. And even then, it's highly fucking questionable. Okay, so you matter to yourself. You make the reality you want to make. The problem is the reality that we accept shouldn't be one that's acceptable because we need to go out and make our reality again. Life's become too easy. People can't do, and this is really fucking pissing me off. I'm going to have to get plastic surgery now. Holy shit. I hadn't noticed how fucking lazy that goddamn eye is because this one actually got cut by my glasses. I got hit in the back of the head with a paving brick, and as I was falling, I didn't have control of my body. Obviously, I was conscious. I could see the world tilting. I just couldn't move or do a fucking thing about it. And as I fell, my glasses broke. One went down this way, the other one went up that way, and the stitches to cure the cut actually gave me a little bit of a eye lift. So this eye still looks normal the way it should be. And this one looks just the way my eyes would look at my age normally. And that's just some sad fucking shit. Look at that.
I mean, I have no idea what I would look like today if I wouldn't have had all of the disasters that I've had happen to my face.
Holy shit. I've tried to protect my face as much as possible. I mean, look at me. I like me. Yeah, I'm not a narcissist, whatever.
But yeah, no, I had my tooth.
Thank you, Tiffany. I love you too.
I had my tooth go through my bottom lip, and my bottom lip was just kind of hanging over here to the side. I put a big gash in my forehead at one point, broke my mandible bone into over 100 pieces, and had to get reconstructive surgery on my whole top of my jaw. And so I mean, I've gone through so much like facial healing that I also wonder what I would look like if I didn't.
So that tells me that you are a really good fighter. Is that it?
What's that? Oh no, these are all self-inflicted injuries that were nothing to do with fighting.
How the fuck do you break your upper mandible? I mean, I broke my lower
that's an easy
mandible. I
story.
passed the fuck out and crashed on stone.
Oh, I was.
I broke my mandible. But how the fuck do you break your upper mandible?
So I was 100% conscious the whole time. I think I was in shock. So what I did is I was like 5, 6 years old. Just got back from the circus, and I saw these trapeze artists, and they were like swinging from these ropes by their teeth. So I was like, I could do that.
By their teeth?
Yeah. But that I didn't realize that the ropes that they were using and the cords that they were using kind of had some, elasticity to them. It kind of bounced a little bit, had a little bit of give. But I decided I was going to go out to my shed, get a ski rope that we used for water skiing off the boat, tied the top to the top 4 of my top teeth, the other end of the top of my bunk bed, and swan dived off. The teeth got pulled out and they got shoved back into my face. I think I lost some of them, but I was in like shock. I ended up walking out to my brother, and he just like looked at me. He's like, "You're bleeding." And like when he told me I was bleeding, that's when I started to freak out. I was like, "Oh, I didn't know there was blood." Like I didn't even feel it at the time. I had to have been in shock. That's the only way I could describe it. I just remember having to go get surgery. I was in the hospital for a while for that one.
Who the fuck jumps off a bunk? Yeah, my teeth are gonna hold me.
This guy.
Holy shit!
This guy. Hold my beer.
I would seriously hold my beer.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
Oh no, God! Until I got on my own insurance, I was a reckless little kid. I was horrible. I couldn't imagine my parents having to deal with that. I apologize to them now all the time.
Oh, my parents told me you ain't breaking your leg because we can't pay for it. So you break your leg, it's going to be crooked because that's just the way it's going to be. And that's the way it was. I didn't want that obligation of having to pay, the health insurance and everything else. And so I thought it was all bullshit. I personally think insurance is all a fucking racket. But my mother would tell me that I'm wrong because she works with insurance. And since I've been in Brazil, the person who's most used my wife's health insurance is me.
Yeah. Disclaimer: don't try this at home. Yeah,
not because I'm.
Idea.
Yeah, definitely do not try this at home. Not because I'm sickly or whatever, because of football. I mean, I broke my hand. I dislocated my finger. I dislocated it punching something metal. I just got carried away, and so I dislocated it. And the doctor, in order to put it back into place, ended up breaking the knuckle in 3 places, and that was the whole thing. Cracked my jaw when I passed out onto the floor. I had the sutures from the eye. I've had problems with my knees. That's just all football related as well. And I've got 3 herniated discs in my neck. So yeah, I've been to the hospital more than anybody else in my family. Actually, everybody else in my family combined have not been in the hospital as much as I have. And I was the person who didn't like health insurance. Yeah.
I can pull out. I got an envelope. I got a manila envelope that I keep. I can basically lay out my whole skeletal structure from all of the X-rays that I've
all
seen.
your X-rays. I can almost do that. I can do that too. I got my feet. I got my knees. I got my heads because mandible and shit.
Oh yeah, no, I got my face where I smashed everything up. I've got all of it.
Holy shit!
I've broken both my feet twice. There was one wrestling match where I dislocated my knee 9 times in 5 minutes. It was my knees. They've gotten better. I had to strengthen my stability muscles and learn how to fight the fact that I kept being able to pop it. I could just stand there and pop it out of place. And I was like, oh, I got to fix this. This isn't right.
Oh, that hurts thinking about it.
Oh yeah. And the guy, my opponent at the time, he was smart. He realized that my knee was weak and he kept attacking it every time that he got a chance. I don't blame him.
Well, that's Karate Kid. Go for the knee. Go for the knee. Yeah,
exactly. Oh. No,
Did you not get a whipping from your dad going, yo, boy, stop doing stupid shit?
I think the doctor said something to him at one point because I was coming in with all these breaks and bruises and like living in the PC culture and world that we live in.
I'm going to report you to child services.
Oh, it was enough. It was enough that they got questioned at one point, and then they just realized, oh, never mind. We're sorry for what you're going through with this kid of yours. Once they realized it was all me and it wasn't them.
Oh man. And now your poor girlfriend, because she's got to deal with the big U.
No, that's the thing. As soon as I was on my own insurance. I never got injured like that anymore. It's interesting.
Yeah, I never broke a bone until after I was 35. Then after that, it seemed like everything started breaking, like an old fucking car. You know, the car runs well for 5 years, and then you got to do something with the brakes or the oil or some shit like that. After 7 years, you start getting problems with, you know, your suspension and mufflers and all that kind of shit. Then after 10 years, you got problems with your tranny and your motor, and 15 years, you're kind of screwed. 20 years, if you got the car, good fucking luck, you know, finding the pieces to replace shit. The body's kind of the same way. I mean, I went fine, and I was freaking Superman until I was 35.
As soon as I broke you get those fragile bones with old age. You got to drink some more milk. Ooh,
I drank milk all the fucking time, and meat and calcium. I paid attention to that shit. I did exercise. I continued doing exercise. But there comes a point to where the body doesn't do what it's supposed to do. My car is 20. When I bought it in 2003 is from 2001. So yeah, my car is 20 years old. It's seen better days, definitely.
So wouldn't your car be in better shape then? How old's your body?
Yeah.
If we're just talking age. No, mine happened right after I stopped walking around high school and walking around and doing classes and being involved with physical activities. The more you sit around and don't use things, that's when they start to waste for me.
Yeah. But that's why I played football on the weekends. I played soccer twice during the week. I was physically active until I was up until 35, 37 years old. Got to guard the bones. Definitely osteoporosis is a serious problem that needs to be looked at. But usually exercise helps strengthen the bones as well. Now, there's a thing about calcium. Milk helps it, but there are other things that can actually give you better calcium that can actually be absorbed better by the body than just milk. Milk is
they're more soluble to the actual body. There's a lot of things that aren't soluble. I always use the example of vitamin water. A lot of the minerals and vitamins that are in vitamin water, they actually aren't soluble in the human body. So, but yes, they're in. Yeah,
you piss them out. They're useless.
Yeah,
it's just a sales gimmick.
Well, I mean, you piss out all extra minerals and stuff like that. But at the same time, that's not what I'm talking about. Your body actually doesn't even retain the ones that you need. It just goes right through you. Yeah,
exactly. It's worthless. It does absolutely nothing other than marketing, because people don't know any better. People don't do they don't study, because, like I said, they're focusing on that bark on that tree in front of them. And if that little thing, I tried to quit today because I'm too old, and this month I'm broke. So I didn't want to have to pay the monthly thing. And the guy told me, hey, it's not worth anything. You're not going to win anything. So just come out, run, and drink a beer with us afterwards. So they don't want me to quit. Yeah, I'm at least doing it once a week. On Mondays, I play, but last Monday I just played so shittily. And a guy that I really don't
it's
fucking
Brazil.
like.
It's Brazil. They have union fees for soccer.
Well, you have to rent the field.
Facility.
It's not a big soccer field. The soccer that I play here was invented here. You got societal soccer, which is smaller, and then you've got the indoor soccer, which is, inside like an auditorium, a gymnasium, like a basketball rink would be the size of those. But this is actual AstroTurf on a little bit bigger than a basketball-sized court. So it's not a full soccer court. But it's not like an indoor soccer. I can't do that. It's really hard on your knees and everything else. So this is on AstroTurf. It feels like soccer, but you don't have to run as much. So it's a different aspect to the sport. that was invented here in this state, here in Brazil. And so, yeah, we play. And so basically you've got lots of different places that will buy 2 or 3 lots and build a little soccer field on it, and they'll rent that out to people an hour, twice a week or something like that, or once a week on Saturdays. There are very popular times. Everybody goes after work. Why? Because they'll go work, they'll go play soccer, 2 days a week, and then they'll go to the gym for another 2 days a week. Because people, especially down here, like their exercise, their health, and that sort of thing. I mean, they swim on the beach in summertime, and they go hike the mountains in the wintertime because there's less snakes there. So yeah, it's a different type of quality of life, which is one of the reasons why I've been here for 24 fucking years. Now, the mentality and everything else, my wife was Brazilian. She's from here, and she hates it whenever I bitch about the things that I have to go through and the things that I have to deal with. And the mentality, general mentality of the people, which is, think of California on a giant country basis, and then look at a guy from Texas being shoved into California, and you'll kind of figure it out. I had stopped wearing my boots after the first year because they complained about the noise. Oh my God. So yeah. No, today it's not raining. It was last week, and usually this place rains a lot. And so I'm surprised. It hasn't been raining as much and the rainfall has been falling here. There was, when I first got here, yeah, that's why part of your family is in Lebanon. Okay, so that's part of the area that I would actually be more. Cool, Mud Rabbit. Interesting reality. I hope he's one of the good Lebanese, and he's not one of those overbearing type of,
I feel like there was a lot of emphasis on the was married, and I think we might have heard about.
Oh, was okay. Well, she could be a widow. I remember my aunt when I was a kid. I was 7, 8 years old. Yeah, old customs. Well, I've also got old customs. My response to whom?
The people that told you had to take off the boots because of the noise.
Yeah, I felt like it, but it's the problem is that you go into shopping malls or you go into everything else, and you just get these stares and looks from everyone, and it's just like, yeah, okay, I'm going to try and fit in just a little bit more. But no matter how much I try and fit in, I don't fit in anywhere. No matter where. Even in Texas, I'm not Texan enough. In Mexico, I'm not Mexican enough. In Brazil, I'm sure as fuck not Brazilian, even though I've been here for 24 fucking years. So yeah, I'm a fish out of water no matter where I'm at. But hey, that's just my perspective, the reality. Yeah, my mom used to sing that song all the time. That's one of her favorite songs. These boots were made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you. That was also on Full Metal Jacket. I love that movie. That was freaking awesome. So yes, that was a good song.
Oh my gosh. The quotes in Full Metal Jacket used to be audio clips in a video game I used to play all the time. It was absolutely.
Oh God, I love that movie. God, so many good things about that movie. Holy crap.
Some of the best quotes, military quotes you'll ever hear came from that movie. They didn't age well, but
no, of course it doesn't age well in woke society. Nothing ages well. This society cancels fucking everything. I mean, they don't even like Friends, for God's sakes, because there are too many, misogynic and
another song. I don't know. I don't know one related to boots.
Oh well, hold on.
There was conversation.
There was one that I saw that now I got to find real quick. It's on one of my feeds. I got to find out where that one was. But hold on.
I mean, it sounds more like a Footloose type of situation. If you want to break your foot off into somebody's butt for making them take off your boots.
Hold on. What was remind me? Hendrix, Jimmy. Yeah, this was on one of my feeds recently, and if I'm not mistaken, I've also added it to my list on music as well. But it wasn't. It is now. I don't know if you can hear any of that. Whoops. Nope. Can you hear that?
Yeah, I don't think you're allowed to play it though.
Okay. That's one of my favorite songs.
What is the Jimmy one?
The Star Spangled Banner. I tear up whenever I'd my kids know this. Before the football games, because I'd always have the football games on the big screen in my home theater, and every time the anthem came on, I just tear up. That's the kind of guy I am. I mean, I love the red, white, and blue. I mean, that's just freaking awesome. Everything that stands for, what that Constitution allowed, the society that was built around those beliefs and the norms, it's absolutely fantastic, and there's nothing else like it on earth. Now, what the sick, mentally lazy, and physically weak motherfuckers that are taking over this goddamn country have done to that makes me sick to my fucking stomach. Now, purple hair, but it's gonna take it where she don't want. I mean, it's nothing about racism, because holy shit, there was this wrestler. I think she was a wrestler, right? She was just so excited. There was this girl that was a wrestler, and she was interviewed, and she was just so excited about being American, and she loved the American flag, and she loved representing her country, and she just felt thrilled and privileged to be there, and she felt privileged to be in the U.S., and she loved who she was. You know, I think she was a gold medalist in wrestling, if I'm not mistaken. You know, I don't know if this black girl was from California or seems like that's where she was.
Are you talking about the current event that's going on with the runner?
I was talking about the Olympics that just went by.
Yeah, it was a runner. That's what you're referring to.
She was a runner?
Yeah, definitely not a wrestler. Definitely not a wrestler.
She was chunky.
I thought the one that you're talking about is when she turned around on the stand or whatever.
No. I'm talking about this. Oh man, I got
the one that was running. There was somebody that was competing for America, and yeah, turned around on the stand and like wasn't like representing the country.
No. And that stupid bitch, she can go fuck off. You know, and everybody.
I don't know. I don't know anything about. I don't even know anything about her feelings and what was going on. What if her whole team threw her under the bus?
She's on the goddamn stand, her fucking obligation. If we're at a goddamn job and I have to answer the fucking
so here's my thing though. You can't stop for a second. You can't pretend the Olympics is serious sometimes, but then it's not serious other times. If New Zealand
is not serious, it's always fucking serious. These people are competing.
When New Zealand is bringing in weightlifters that can compete in the women's Olympics, I feel like sometimes you can throw it to shit, but at the other hand, we want respect from these athletes. It's like, are we respecting the athletes? And you know what I mean? There's there's balances to these things too.
But to see the throwing a loser ass fat motherfucker to compete against women is just a pussy ass fucking move. And he lost his shit anyway because he couldn't lift the fucking weight. Pansy ass motherfucker couldn't even compete with women. Fucking piece of shit. Now, all that crap, I agree with Joe Rogan and I agree with Jenner. 10 times, decathlon, man. Nobody knows the Olympics more than this dude, bitch, whatever the fuck he chooses to be nowadays. And he doesn't even recognize that that's legitimate and fucking fair. But hey, let's just twist all fucking facts and make whatever we believe to be true, which is fucking bullshit. Because we got those motherfuckers that are riding around in our tanks and trucks and motor vehicles and everything else that don't give a fuck. They're using the helicopters to actually show everybody that, traitors have their just rewards.
The Jamaican bobsled team.
Now, that was freaking awesome.
Run-ins.
They trained their ass off. I mean, nobody could ever I remember the Jamaican bobsledders. That was freaking awesome. I was rooting for them. I mean, I think they fucked up. They didn't, but still. Yes, thank you, Mud Rabbit, for backing me up. Thank you very much. She was this muscle-bound chick, and she was just wrapped in the flag, and she was so happy with it. And it was, like her favorite little blanket. That you give this 3 or 4 year old child, and they get their favorite blankie. She had that flag around her like it was her favorite freaking blankie. And when the interview afterwards, they asked her if she was proud to be American, because they were expecting one of those purple-haired bitch responses like, "No, this is the worst, most racist freaking country that I've ever lived in, and I feel disgraced to represent this putrid freaking reality." Yeah. Then fuck off to Cuba with your ass. I mean, seriously. You like that other shit? Then fucking go there. There are lots of places you can do whatever the fuck you want to do. I didn't like the fucking PC shit that I was seeing in the U.S. I got my fucking ass out. Now, down here, they're worse about PC because they can actually call the cops on you and get you arrested for saying anything about black people. That is a law.
All right, so freedom of speech isn't everywhere. And freedom of speech especially on online platforms. But no, just in general, and what everybody classifies as freedom of speech are way different things. Especially from country to country.
That was fun. Sorry, I was reading Johnny Dragon's thing.
Oh, yeah.
Jamaica, man. Always good, man. Jamaica's a place I want to be, man.
Yeah. Bombaclaw. Oh, no, that's Trinidad, I guess.
Rastaman, Rhode Island, Trinidad is not Jamaica, man. It's a whole other thing, man. Tokyo Olympics, yeah. Tamara Mensah Stock. Let us remember that name. That chick is freaking awesome. That girl's a patriot. She loved her country. That's fucking awesome to see. All in the Family, holy fucking shit. I hated that show because, like I told Jake before, I was woke before woke was a thing. I knew shit that was wrong, that you couldn't be treating people badly. You couldn't be bullying people. You couldn't, beat up a fucking tranny because, you feel like beating them up. No, you don't do that. They are people. They have rights as people. Now, the guy from All in the Family, I forgot what the main...
Urkel?
Huh?
Urkel.
Fuck no, that's like 15, 20 years after All in the Family.
Where are we talking about? All in the Family. Oh, I'm thinking about what's it called? God, I can't think of the name of it now. The one with Urkel. I know it's got family in the name or something.
Yeah, I think it's Family
Matters. Oh, it's Family Matters.
Yeah,
sorry.
Family Matters, yeah. All in the Family was...
Archie Bunker. God, that was so.
Archie Bunker. Thank you. That
was so out there with being able to talk about it. The only thing that was cool about it is I think it was nice that they did the Jefferson spinoff and actually had good ties And it
I
wasn't
love
hard
the
feeling.
Jefferson. But hold on. You know one show that came on at the same time as Archie Bunker and I really enjoyed watching? Sanford and Sons. Holy fucking shit, Sanford and Sons. Sanford and Sons was just some funny fucking shit. All in the Family, Archie Bunker was just a racist asshole. You laughed at his ass because he's a stupid motherfucker, and you knew that. But on Sanford and Sons, all right, Maria, pregúntame. Dime lo que quieres saber. Ask me your question.
Preguntas, problemas.
We don't want any problems around here. We just want questions.
Questions or concerns. Please address them.
Problemas are problems. Preocupaciones. Preocupaciones. If they translate it wrong, it's another fucking thing. But it's preocupaciones, worries. Because problems, we don't want no fucking problems. So I'll have to jump in the chat, find out what Maria is talking about.
Jesus hasn't answered yet. It's got a little bit of delay.
Mary Hartman. Mary Hartman. I'm trying to remember that one. I remember that name, but still not. Okay, Maria. There's this little program.
I used to watch Mary Tyler Moore all the time. I don't know why. I really like that.
I think Mary Hartman was a spinoff of Mary Tyler Moore. I think it was one of
They started in The Office, and then she ended up getting her own show.
Spun off, but that show didn't last very long because nobody thought it was that funny. There's this little show that everybody needs to watch. It's called The Quest for Truth or Truth Quest. Truth Quest. Seriously? Wait a second. Now I gotta double check. The fuck am I doing? Truth Quest. All right. I assumed that it was the quest for truth. No, it is Truth Quest. And so both of us were calling up on Aaron's show. And I had called up a couple of times on Aaron's show, and Jacob and I were both on there, and I was trying to keep Jacob from saying stuff that would get Aaron taken down because I liked Aaron and I didn't want him to get in trouble. I like Jacob, and I still got him in trouble, so I apologize, Jacob.
I went back and watched that show. I think it was the other way around. I wasn't saying anything naughty.
Who was saying anything? You? I was saying naughty stuff on Aaron's show.
Not naughty, but I could see you going into a rant about certain political figures and events
on Aaron's show. But you're the one who wanted to bring up Alex Jones and all that kind of shit. And I knew.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't. Yeah, no, I didn't realize people weren't allowed to talk about that.
Oh no.
It took me a while to figure that out.
Oh, see, I mean, Red Pill 78 got taken down, and 8 of the other channels that I watched, and so yeah, I found out real fucking quick. And then you watch Marfugu, and you find out how he controls, all his words, and he says things funny like, I ran to the store and that sort of stuff, just so he doesn't get caught with specific names or words that are problematic. Because it seems that anything that makes it into the news becomes a catchphrase or something that Google/YouTube, because if you go into the Google search,
what Terry threw up there.
Absolutely. That's I would. That is something that is a catchphrase. I like that. I like that. I like that a lot. That was freaking fantastic.
Yeah, that's the simple way to put it.
On YouTube, through another YouTube and another YouTube. But well, it's like I met Leo. I met Leo because he came up on this channel, and now I'm going to be especially. Well, yeah, we started this after doing that. Because I ended up contacting Jake afterwards. I liked what he wanted to talk about because we're both on the same wavelength as far as that was concerned, because we know that the government's fucked up and they're corrupt and there's all kinds of freaky shit going on. And so we wanted to be able to talk about it. And that's how we started this thing. Now, Jake has done phenomenal. He's got some, I mean, I was listening to Mark's interview again, and I listened to Mark's interview that he did on another channel that he posts on his website. And holy crap, that guy is awesome. So I don't know how you found him, but he's just freaking cool.
Did you see this?
What do you do?
This is the first time. This is right after we talked.
That was on Aaron's channel.
No, this is in the discussion on my channel. This is when you reached out to me and we started doing our weekly podcast after that.
Yeah, getting into the multiverse. I wanted to do a transition, and that's the thing. God works in mysterious ways, because I didn't want to go into woo-woo stuff, because everybody's into like Leo. I mean, you look at Leo, and everything everything makes sense, and it's completely, from my perspective, true. But many people look at it as woo-woo, unprovable. Oh, that's just thought experiments, got nothing to do with the reality. And so I didn't want people to brush off my channel as that, because there's a lot of basis in physics that I have, because I studied a lot of physics and science and everything, especially physics. But it's one of the things that I love besides economics and theology, which is the basis for everything. So I wanted to base it on, I wanted things that were tangible, that were provable, but it's also quantum physics, which in many cases Mark doesn't like quantum physics very much. He thinks that the string theory is all kinds of bullshit. There are things about it that I believe, that the multiple 11 dimensions on small scales, I can understand where he's coming from, and that sort of stuff. But the probabilistic multiverse aspect of quantum mechanics I actually enjoy, and it really fits with my creationistic view of reality. But I wanted to bring that to people, starting from science and taking it to a point to where science was delving into things that bled into what would be the spiritual. And so I wanted to do a pivot to the more spiritual aspects of that, because the ultimate objective of my book is, okay, we got science, we got spirituality. What do we do with that? Boom, we make our own reality. So how are you going to make that useful to you today, now? And that's what I wanted to get to. And part of that was to pivot to the spirituality. And I didn't know how to do that from the scientific basis that I had on my channel. And then all of a sudden, I get you on Aaron's show, and we start this whole thing. And basically, my entire conversation with you is all around the Bible and God and Jesus, and how Christianity can actually make your life better from my perspective. And so that pivot to spirituality happened with you. So you were a godsend, Jacob, and you were an answer to my conundrum of how I could switch the focus and reach more people with my channel. I'm still not reaching people with my channel, but I'm reaching people through your channel. And Mud Rabbit, thank you very much for that one. I'm glad to know that I'm not alone. So yeah, we've got all these things that we mess around with in our mind, and I call mental experiments. And so all these mental experiments need to end up generating something for you. Otherwise, it's just a waste of time. It's like I
don't even think it has to be. It doesn't have to manifest something for you as much as it just has to be tangible in a way that's presentable to you.
But
it doesn't have to make you money. No. You just have to benefit from it somehow. Whether it's it fills you up internally, fills that cup that needs to be filled. No. I feel that
I can read Shakespeare and the Buddha and the Vedic text and whatever. I can fill my time with all that stuff. But what it matters in the end is how I can make these things useful and to me and to others around me. And that's the thing that always led me back to Christianity, because out of all the different religions that I studied mentally, intellectually, the one that had a basis, a sustainable basis, something that allowed society to grow, not exponentially, but progressively and sustainably. Why? Because we care about family. We treat others decently. You know, we're not. Now, if you got another fucking band over there that wants to kill you, don't be a sheep. Don't cower. Take it to them, or run your ass away to Petra and hide out in the woods until they're gone. Either way, but you survive away from those other influences that want to do you harm. That's how those civilizations progressed at that time. There are some certain bases that actually help. Like you said, well, let's just try and bring in all these leftists and all these anarchists and all these atheists and all these Satanists and all this bullshit that's taking over the fucking planet right now, the Antichrist spirit, which is I call it. Yeah, we're going to try and bring them into the body of Christ. Sorry, they rejected it a long fucking time ago. And so when they reject Christianity, when they reject Christ, and that's fine, they reject you if you're a Christian. And if they reject you, it's like my dad says, oh, yeah, but you know, you shouldn't be mean. Wait, I am who I am. They're the ones who canceled me. They unfriended me. I'm not the one who unfriended them. But I'm not going to go groveling back and say, yeah, you're right. Everybody should try sodomy. It's fun. No, I'm sorry. They got their own thing. They canceled me. They wrote me off. That's quite all right. And I go on in my way and I just dust off my feet and continue going. Okay, so chakras is something I've read up on and everything else, but I wasn't really into that because when I got to Brazil, I thought all that shit was crap. I mean, you got Reiki down here. I mean, my wife was in a Reiki session, and so I was waiting in the waiting room, and I saw this block of papers, right? And so I just pulled out the little notepad, right, little pieces of paper, and I just drew out a cross on the table. Why? Because fucking get these spirits out of here, man. Bible told us to avoid this shit, and my wife's going in on that stuff. Today, I understand Reiki. I understand how it works, why it works.
Oh yeah.
Problem is,
it's not I mean, I feel like you can channel God with Reiki as well. You can channel the Holy Spirit with
no. You don't channel God. You can't, and you cannot use.
No. I'm saying, like in general, I'm saying that positive energy. It doesn't have to be you're manifesting something negative either.
Whenever you conjure, therein lies the problem, because you're conjuring something from.
I told everybody that we're probably gonna wrap up soon. So if anybody has any questions, to go ahead and
we're drawn up on 2 hours, and my topics are running.
Oh no, your topics are fine. We're doing fine. I just don't have a super long time tonight.
Well, shit, you did 9 hours last Thursday. What the fuck? We've done 5.5. We're gonna cut me off short on 2 hours, man? What the fuck kind of pussy?
No, not short. That's why I said if anybody's had any questions, they're more than welcome to put them forward. I'm always down for more to keep it going as well.
Absolutely true. Not everybody is plugged in. You're right, Mud Rabbit. True, Mud Rabbit. Yeah, it's got to do with the energy and how it works in the body. But the thing is, how do people know about this? And now we know about it, some levels of science. But back then, it was who was telling them these things. And therein lies the problem. Because, you know, who's giving them the influences that make them. For example, John Dee. I don't know if we were talking about him the other day. Remember John Dee, the British man who was a consultant to Bacon and England, and some say is also responsible for, or Bacon would be responsible for, Shakespeare's texts, and Dee was a large influence on Shakespeare, and he was a conjurer. Okay. Yes, we are a filter of intent. Jesus used to say that evil lies within us. It's up to us to release it or not. And therein is the thing. We've always got the seed of, I want to do my thing. Yeah, my thing is fuck everybody else. Or say, yeah, not my will be done, but your will, sir, be done. And that when we make that conscious decision to not do what we would do, but do what he would have us do, that is a basic change in humanity. If people actually did that, I believe that we'd live in a lot more decent society. Yeah, it would be representative of the society that I grew up in, because that's why I have my fundamentals in faith. Okay, now see, there's something that I didn't know. I learned yesterday there are 3 chakras: the throat, the mouth, and the head chakra.
There's multiple.
In this little range. That was bizarre. Oh, we got the third eye. That's right. So throat, the third eye, and the vertical one going up that way. So yeah, we got that one going that way, 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 the other one going down. So yeah, we've got 7 chakras, I think is what the thing was, and lining those chakras and everything else. It's my dad has a funny joke. He says, "Let me align your chakras." Slap you upside the head. We'll get those chakras aligned, motherfucker. You'll be doing what you need to do real fucking quick. Yeah, and that's the thing. In the multiverse that we live in, we can actually conduct the reality that we want to build. We build the reality around us through our intent, through our actions, through the influence that we have on other people. I have that building that I want to make. It started as a dream for a place for my mom and my kids to be able to live their lives later on. And it's developed into other things, but it's still the same structure and everything else. Different. My mom's building her house up in the States. So that's no longer a possibility. But the structure, the idea of the structure is still there. So I'm trying to build towards that. But we're very careful and stable steps, because my mom also had the dream of building that building, but she decided to build it in the States. And she didn't have the money to contract a builder or buy something that was already made and that sort of thing, because she had, I think, 150 available for financing and that sort of thing. You can't buy anything for less than 250 or 300. And so she tried to build her own cheaper, the way my dad always used to do. My dad did that all the fucking time, but we didn't pay it. I paid attention. My mom didn't pay attention to it. She just thinks it's easy. It's what you do. Now she's getting bit in the ass because inflation has taken off like a son of a bitch. She's already 35% over budget, and she's about to be seriously underwater. So when you can't take things gradually, when the system requires you to do things in a certain way, the system will make you do things in a way that will not necessarily be to your benefit. It's to their benefit. It's to protect them, not you. And therein lies a problem, because we're all subject. Now, down here, I understand, the reticence of banks and everything else, because there's lots of, thieving and lying and deceitful and cunning people that are always willing to take your fucking money. So yeah, I get that reticence of banks. However, to obligate somebody to make things within a certain time frame and period and everything else that are just absurd bureaucratic limitations that make life difficult unless you go along exactly to buy what they programmed and everything else. And so my mom's about to get bit, and bit hard. and I don't know what I can do for her or about that. She took a step, and it looked like a great step, and everything was working great. And then we get this freaking bullshit $7 trillion passed, and the quantitative easing and the hyperinflation, which is now starting to bear its ugly fangs. And I know about hyperinflation. There was inflation, serious fucking inflation in Mexico. There was hyperinflation in Brazil before I got here. So, yeah, it's not a good thing. Here in Brazil, people used to buy used vehicles because it would hold its value better than the currency. And I thought, wow, that's bizarre. It makes sense, but that's bizarre. Okay. And now in the United States, what do we see? Used car vehicles went up by 40% this year. People are buying vehicles to store their wealth, and so we are starting to see hyperinflation rear its ugly head. In other words, the United States, because of its lack of responsibility, because of its third world mentality of the tax and spend Democrats and their freaking destructive goddamn mentality, their third world fucking mentality has made the United States into a third world nation. What does that mean? That means high interest rates. That means high taxes. That means a fluctuating currency. That means that you can't trust what you're going to buy next month will be there or be the price that you saw it last month. You can't plan for anything long term because you don't have any guarantees of anything long term, because it could be here today and it could be gone tomorrow. So you buy whatever's available today with all your cash, because you don't know if your cash is going to be worth anything tomorrow either. And that excessive spending also feeds the hyperinflation even more, until it comes a point to where, like in Venezuela, people were taking barrels of money to buy a chicken. And the Venezuelans lost 5 to 10 centimeters in their average height over the last decade from hunger. Welcome to socialism.
But everybody wants to come up with their new way of doing socialism. That's the thing. And I get everybody talking smack about communism. And I get it.
Deception. That's the demonic fucking deception. They want control is what they fucking want, or they're lazy and they want the government to do something for them. Fuck that. If they do something for you, they will subsequently do something to you. That's the quid fucking pro quo. So the best thing is, don't let them do anything for you, and they won't do anything to you. You don't depend on them. They have nothing that they can do to you. Unless they get to a point like in China to where it doesn't fucking matter. In every freaking corner of the country, they will come in, shut your doors, weld your doors shut, and just wait for you to die and rot in your private little abode with no food, electricity, water, or anything else to survive. Just sit there and wait for you to waste the fuck away. Is that what you want? Then go to California, because that's what they're fucking gonna get. Okay. Now you want to live somewhere else to where you have to bust your ass. You actually have to make your fucking corn grow. You actually have to make your fucking vegetables grow. You actually have to pick your vegetables and freeze them on time to make sure that in the middle of the fucking winter, you still have some goddamn food left over and you won't go hungry. That's a lot of fucking work. There's a reason the system was developed, to make our lives easier. But the easier our lives become, the more dependent we become on that system, and the more control that system can impose on us. After many fucking years, they believe that they have the control to do whatever the fuck they want to us, including put us into goddamn cattle cars to ship us off to some place where we can be quarantined in a concentrated area, to where we will no longer be a problem to the masses of society. I think we've seen this somewhere before last fucking century. but people are too stupid or lazy to actually look shit up, remember things, or they're too busy fucking partying in school to actually pay attention to the history books to figure out that we're living through 3 different situations at the same time, depending on what twisted fucking leader's childhood lived through. So we got one motherfucker that actually lived through the 40s when he was 10 years old, learned all kinds of twisted, stupid bullshit. Then we got another ignorant bastard who was around during the Vietnam debacle, and Saigon seemed like a really good fucking idea to imitate again. So we got Saigon 2.0 because these sycophants learn shit when they're kids and they repeat it when they're adults. But if we don't remember what it is that they fucking learned, we can't do the counter move that will stop that fucking bullshit from happening. I hope you're right, Mud Rabbit. I'm hoping from what I heard we're at the end of the storm, but that means we all need to stand the fuck up. The end of the storm is us standing up and saying we do not consent. Back the fuck off. It's up to each and every one of us, each individual little fucking ant, to come together and be a big fucking mound of red ants with fiery freaking bites that burn the fuck out of you every time we bite. Mud Rabbit, I'm hoping that we get in the Harpazo, but I'm not sure that we will not go through the tribulation before the Harpazo. But yeah, it's to warn them. It's to tell them what's going on, because that's what's going to happen. Because he already knows what the Antichrist wants to do, because it's all about control. It's everything opposite of what God wants. God gives us free will. Why? Because he wants love. He wants real love. He wants people to really love him, who he is, not somebody to be forced to, like Kim Jong-un, those millions of people marching. Heil, street leader, Heil, we love you, because our people will die if we don't say this. God doesn't want that. God wants us to choose him of our own free will. And many are choosing not. And that's their freedom. That's their choice within this reality that the Father created. The Antichrist is exactly the opposite of that. He doesn't want your free will. He wants your subservience at any and all costs, whether you like it or not. You will kneel down to the image of the Antichrist, or the system will cancel you. And in the book, it says that they'll actually kill you, because eventually they will be able to do that. We'll be isolated individually. Nobody will be able to see anything. They'll be able to go into your individual residence and make you disappear, like the Chinese government does at 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning. Okay. Mud Rabbit, I love you, girl. I really do. You bring me back. And I opened it up and it was on 317, so I'm almost there. So evidently that's something that really always hit me as well. So 14, 7, and 10. Since you have kept my command to endure patiently, I will also keep you from the hour of trial that is going to come upon the whole world to test those who live on the earth. Thank you very much, Mud Rabbit. You are absolutely right. That is a promise. But there are things that we're going to have to go through. We're going through them now. But as long as we stay steadfast, we don't take the mark, which is an alteration. The very first alteration, and the book of Enoch tells us this, and I think I've talked about this before because I'm like a fucking broken record now, to where the angels came down, they fell, they did what they did. We all know the story. But afterwards, they were like, shit, man. They had kids. And like every parent, they loved their kids, even though they were huge and grotesquely deformed at some points and everything else, but they loved their kids. even though they were eating everybody else and destroying everything around them, but they loved their kids. And they wanted their kids to be able to spend time in that place where they grew up. Kind of like I would like my kids to be able to go to the States and spend some time in the places that I grew up. So the fallen angels would like their kids to, go back home and experience some of the things that they experienced when they were growing up. And they didn't know how to do that because they couldn't talk to God anymore, because there were sick, twisted fucks that God didn't want to talk to anymore. And so they talked to Enoch because they knew that Enoch talked with God. Enoch walked with God. And so they went up to him and they said, yeah, we know we're fucked. But what about our kids? Give them a break. We know we did our shit and we deserve what we're going to get. We get that. We know. But our kids, think about the children. And God told Enoch, how far they have fallen. They were supposed to be intercessors between me and you, humanity. But now they are using you as an intercessor. No, their children will not be saved. And the adversary understood this as basically their genetic line wouldn't be saved. And so from that point forward, why? Because it wasn't God's line. It was infested by the serpent line. And so from that point forward, one of the objectives was to twist and fuck up that genetic line. And he almost did it. Noah was chosen because he was genetically not altered, because everything else was. The entire world was. The plants, the animals, he managed to fuck up everything in the antediluvian world, what we call Atlantis. Things are seriously fucked up. I mean, a Minotaur, a Pegasus, this shit fucking existed. Why did they write it down? They just imagined it? No, they actually fucking made this shit. And it fucked things up. Seriously. And so it was all done in. Start all over again. They're still trying to screw up with our genetic code. And guess what this newest medication does?
Yeah. But anywho, let's actually wrap it up. I appreciate you coming on tonight. I got some other things I got to run around and do tonight. Otherwise, it'll be a little bit longer.
It's been good, Jake. Thank you very much. I wasn't with too many topics today, and I do apologize. But yeah.
Oh no, we usually just wing it anyway. We never really come with a list.
2 hours is a good mark anyway. Marf usually does less than that. He's had to because of Facebook things, but it's all good. And tonight was good. The chat was lively. Mud Rabbit, love you, girl. Y'all, you are just on. You hit all those little buttons. It's like we're copacetic. We're in sync here. It's freaking awesome. Tiffany, I love having you around. You keep that chat just active. I see your face all over the place between you and Mud Rabbit just talking. Terry, thanks for dropping in. That was freaking awesome. And Maria, sorry, what word was Our Life in Colors? Maria y Jorge, no? Thank you very much for that question. It allowed us to go down a memory lane hole that I think was 5 months now? 4 or 5 months we're going on?
5 months ago, you messaged me. That was a little over 5 months ago. We ran into each other on Aaron's show, and about 3 months ago, we started doing stuff together. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So 3 months. All right. That's a good number. That's a good number.
Yeah.
We'll see how far we can push this out. But for tonight, thank you very much. Everyone in chat, love y'all. Thank you very, very much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and all that kind of stuff. Thanks, Jake. Appreciate it.
Have a good night, everybody.